Hi, my name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. Now, today what we're going to be talking about is the market update for what's going on in Eagle River, Alaska. This continues to be a very interesting area, so we're going to be looking at the residential, the condo, and the multifamily market. So it's very interesting findings in what we're seeing. So looking forward to jumping into that. Before we get going, do make sure you give this video a like. Make sure you subscribe down below to receive more information like this. And without further ado, let's go and jump into today's video. First thing that we're going to look at is the residential market. And the first thing we're going to check out in the residential market is the number of active inventory. So looking over here, we see that we're a little under half of what the total inventory that was available this time last year. There's about 108 homes on the market this year, last year in Eagle River. Now there's 53. So huge cut in inventory, and that's something we'll talk more about in the summary. The next thing we're going to check out is the average sold price for properties in Eagle River for the past month. Now looking over here, average sold price last year was roughly about $356,000 this year, or $356,000 I should say. This year, it's about $405,000. So that is obviously a big significant jump, and this graph really does show us that. Again, we'll talk more about why that is in the summary. Lastly, let's take a look and see how many properties have actually sold in Eagle River during the time period that we're looking at. Over here, again, not a big surprise, seeing a big uptick and the number of units that have actually sold. There was about 17 that sold last year. This year, it is sitting around 31. So that's all favorable indicators for sellers right at the moment. And we'll kind of unpack that a little bit more in the summary. But let's go and switch gears and take a look at the condo market. First thing that we're going to check out for the condo market is going to be that number of properties that are actively on the market. Now, what we're seeing over here is the condo market is obviously not a huge segment of the real estate market here in this specific area in Eagle River. The number of properties that were on the market last year was 16, now it's 14. So not a huge swing in either direction. It's not particularly a big pool though, but we do see a decrease in inventory. But that's kind of the number one takeaway right off the get-go. Less inventory for condos. Now the next thing we're going to take a look at is the average sold price for condos in Eagle River. This over here actually shows us we had a decrease in the average sold price for condos because we see the average sold price was $260,500, whereas the average sold price this past January was about $229,000. So that's interesting, not really a trend we would expect to see the inventory down and also see a decrease in the sales price. We'll talk about it in the summary though. Next thing we're going to check out is the number of overall units that have sold in Eagle River during the time period that we're looking at. Not a whole lot to report. We sold 2 last year, it was 2 this year, and that's actually down from the number of units that we've sold in past years during the time period. So keeping steady with what we had in the previous year. Let's take a quick break here because I really need your help. I challenged a friend of mine who happens to do some part-time modeling on the side that I could get more followers on Instagram than she could up till February 20th. And yeah, I'm already about 100 followers behind her already. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you go down into the description section for this post and hit the Instagram and give me a follow real quick because I do not like losing, and for some reason I thought I could win this, so I need you to bail me out. So go ahead and do that real quick, and I'll wait for you. All right, welcome back. So let's go ahead and take a look at the multi-units in Eagle River. Not a whole lot to report here. This isn't a particularly big pool of inventory that we have available for multi-units in Eagle River at any one time. So last year there were 2, this year there's 2. Not a whole lot going on there. So let's go and move it along. So looking over here, not seeing a big change in the overall sold price for those properties either. Because we're seeing over here, average sold price last year right around $367,000, This year it's right around $388,000. So not a huge shift either direction in the grand scheme of things, but we do see a slight uptick in the sales price for multifamily properties in Eagle River. Lastly, let's take a look at the number of properties that have actually sold in Eagle River during this time period. Again, not a whole lot to report here. We sold 2 last year, we sold 2 this year. So not a huge swing of the properties that are actually selling one way or the other. So let's go ahead and jump into the summary though and see what all this shows us. So number 1, for residential properties, we see that we have got way less inventory than we did last year. We're seeing a really big increase in the number of properties that have sold, and we're seeing an increase in the sales price. This is a strong seller's market. If you are looking at getting your property sold, or it's something you have considered in the past, you're not going to get a better time than what you're going to get right now for selling a property in Eagle River. So if that's something that you're considering, do make sure that you reach out and let's go and talk about it. Condos. This one's interesting, okay? So we're seeing that there's less inventory. Yes, it's not a huge pool to start with, but less inventory. And we're not really seeing a whole lot of movement as far as the sold units go. Again, kind of a smaller market though. And we're seeing a slight decrease in the sales price for those properties. So not a huge market there, and really on a market that size, it doesn't take a whole lot of properties being sold one way or the other to kind of throw it all off. So it's staying more or less steady from what we've seen in the past. Now let's take a look at the multifamily units. Over here, what we're seeing is inventory is down slightly. We are seeing the average sold price is up slightly, and number of sold units are staying pretty consistent with previous years. So it's not a particularly big pool. Once you start dealing with 2 properties selling, then just dumb luck, what properties sold during that time can really throw the whole thing off. Plus, it's multi-units, so it can be anywhere from the duplex all the way up to the 30-plex, okay? So it's really just all over the place. So that's just the summary overall of what we're seeing right at the moment. And this seems pretty bleak for those of us who are buyers out there looking at stuff. This is what I would say though. I spoke with somebody just a little bit ago. We're trying to get a buyer in to go look at a property, and I was expecting there was going to be tons of offers on this property, but no one just yet, because everyone assumed that there were a million offers on it, and they didn't have the, I guess you can say, the emotional calluses to just step up to the plate and get into a multiple offer situation anymore. So this is the takeaway I would take if I were a buyer. Understand that the reason that you're tired, understand that the reason you don't want to get rejected and the reason you don't want to jump back into these multiple offer situations is exactly why you need to do it, okay? Because everybody else doesn't want to do it either. So that's going to be your strength at this point. Just understand, if you're feeling a certain way, everyone else is feeling that too. And if you can be disciplined and maintain focus on what it is that you're trying to do, you're going to be the one that wins out eventually. So I sure hope this has been useful. If it has, you know what to do. Give this video a like. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly on my Facebook page, or contact me through there, or contact me through my website. I'm going to say probably the worst way to get in contact with me is through email. I do my best, but I have hundreds of emails a week, and it's very easy to lose track of stuff. So reach out to me through Facebook. That's probably the best way. So hope this has been useful. I'll see you next time.